Hello, my friends on Patreon. Hello again. I have to start off by saying thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you guys very much. Very much. I'm sorry that I have not been more active on here, but I've been really busy, guys. I've been having some personal things going on, no excuses. And I've also really started to ramp things up on the main channel. We're going to get into the shorts game as well, and we're really going to try and blow up the channel. So I've been doing a lot of work, but I have not forgotten you guys, and I will not forget you guys. Today I am going to make an advanced level video because I said here on the Patreon, from here on out, the videos will be advanced because Joel asked me if I could start doing these like I speak to my friends and family and other native speakers. So I got you, my man. Today I'm going to talk about this book, Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl. It was a really profound and deep book, okay? It really shows you the depths of human suffering and the human condition. So what I'm going to tell you guys about this book, first I'm going to tell you the overall lessons that I learned from the book. Then I'm going to tell you guys some interesting things that I really took away from when he described his experiences in the concentration camp during the Holocaust and World War II. And then after that, I'm going to tell you guys a story of some crazy stuff that my grandfather told me and my cousin when we were younger about Jewish people in World War II, okay? It's possible that my grandfather was racist, but you guys could be the judge of that. So, the overall lesson of the book, what is the meaning, okay? Man is searching for meaning in life, the meaning of life. What is it? So this is a quote from a philosopher called Nietzsche, but Dr. Frankl quotes it in this book, and I think it's very profound and really sums up a lot of the things that we search for in day to day when we're looking for meaning in our lives. So here it is. He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. Okay, so that means somebody with a purpose or a mission can deal with any circumstances or difficult situations, all right? And that's so important because life is going to give you these tough situations, and if you do not have a meaning or a purpose, a mission, something that you are striving for, goals, you are not going to be able to deal with the hard situations that life is going to hit you with. So that was something that he really talks about during his time in the concentration camps. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit later some of the crazy circumstances and terrible things that happened there, but he said the people who made it through and were still sane were the people who had something to live for, okay? A man who had a wife at home in a different country and he knew he could get back to her if the war ended, or a man who had a son or a daughter, or a man who was an important scientist and he had work to do still. Those were the people who survived. They did not give up, okay? And they did not lose their sanity because they had a mission in their life and they were so dedicated to it that they were able to keep their faith and keep their hope. So, gotta have a purpose, guys. You gotta have a purpose. You gotta have a vision. And a man with no vision will perish, I believe is the quote from the Bible. But it's very true. So he later says what the meaning of life actually is, and he says the meaning of life is unique and different to every single man. Each man has a purpose and a mission, but when circumstances or something very hard in life put our mission on hold and we're not able to work towards our goals or our dreams, then our purpose becomes to suffer and handle that bad situation with dignity and keep our humanity. How is that for a purpose? What do you guys think about that? If you are not able to work towards your goals because some evil people came and captured you and threw you in a prison cell, okay? Are you going to give up? Are you going to go crazy? Or are you going to handle that situation the best way that you can and try to be the best human being that you can in that situation? Okay, so that's kind of what I get out of life, is that our job, the meaning of life, is to either use our creativity and our works, obras, like what our mission is, give our full 100% to that. But in the times where we cannot do that because of bad circumstances in life, and when we are forced to suffer, I want to say like a man, but a lot of men are weak these days. So to suffer with dignity, self-respect, and still be kind to other people, even though you're suffering. And I'm not perfect. I definitely can learn from this book. Sometimes when I have suffered, I have not been so kind or patient to the people who I care about and love. And that's something I definitely need to work on. So here are some of the things that I learned about what it was like in the concentration camp from how Dr. Frankl described his experiences, okay? So he says the first thing that the Nazis did when they captured all the Jews, there was one Nazi soldier who was either pointing to the left or to the right, okay? And if he pointed to the left, that means that you were going to die. They were going to put you in a room where poison gas went in the room and killed you. They said you were going to the gas chamber. So if he pointed that way, you were getting killed before you even went to the camp. If he pointed to the right, it means that you looked healthy enough to work. So you were going to be a slave instead of being killed, okay? So if he pointed you to the right and you were lucky enough to live, I say lucky, but that doesn't sound very lucky, but you got to live at least. So if you go to the right, then the first thing they do is take away all your clothes, all of your possessions, your jewelry, even your wedding rings, shoes, everything. Then they shave off all of your hair. Every hair on your body, your face, your head, your body, every hair. And they do this to humiliate you, to make you feel less human, to steal away every bit of your identity, okay? And he said it was almost humorous to look at each other and see each other like that because it was so different and just crazy, okay? So after that initial humiliation, they were forced to work, okay? They had to work long days, very little sleep, and so little food that they were literally starving to death, okay? Literally dying. People were dying every day from not having enough food because they were not giving them enough food at all. And they were burning a lot of calories, making them work a lot. So he said that they literally looked like skeletons with skin on. Okay, can you imagine being so hungry that your body is eating itself and then you still have to go work? And if you're too tired to work, they beat you? Crazy. Very crazy. So one other thing that really struck me was when he said that even though the situations were terrible, they were seeing their friends and family members dying every day. When they saw something beautiful in nature, like a sunset over the mountains, they still appreciated it. They stopped for a second and they nudged each other and said, "Hey man, look at that beautiful sunset. Wow, can you believe it?" And that just kind of deep to think that even in that situation, in all that suffering, a human can still appreciate the beauty of the world, you know? I thought that was a pretty cool little detail. And the last thing that I want to share about the book is he says that there are two races of men, only two races of men, and it has nothing to do with skin color or nationality. There are only decent men and indecent men, okay? Good men and bad men. He says that there were Nazi officers who actually tried to help and were actually kind and snuck them food. So there were Nazis who were good, and there were fellow Jewish prisoners who did evil things to other Jews, other Jewish prisoners, trying to gain favor from the Nazis. So that shows you that anywhere you go in life, there's good and bad people, okay? So the best thing we could do is look for the good and, hope you don't encounter someone as bad as the Nazis, okay? But there's good and bad in every group, and just because, everybody says, history says that the Nazis were evil, they were just humans, really. They were humans being led by a crazy man, perhaps, but there were decent human beings there. And the people who were the Jews, who people say are the innocent victims, there were evil ones who were doing bad things to the other Jews just to try and look out for themselves. So I thought that was a pretty deep lesson of the book, that there's two kinds of men, good and bad, has nothing to do with skin color or anything like that, nationality, where you come from. It's about who you are as a person, good or bad. All right, guys, that's what I took away from that book. Pretty good book. I recommend it. He says some other things about his type of therapy. That didn't really interest me. I'm not really big on that type of psychotherapy. I have different opinions about how to heal from trauma and things like that, but I'm not going to talk about that here. Anyway, the last thing I do want to tell you guys is a story about something my grandpa told myself and my cousin when we were young. My cousin and I were watching stuff on the History Channel, which is a channel here. I don't know if you guys have that where you are, but a channel on the TV where they tell stories about old wars and stuff like that. But so we were watching stuff about World War II and Adolf Hitler, and we asked my grandpa what really caused World War II, because my grandpa was German, okay? My grandpa was born here, but both of his parents were German. They came from Germany. So my grandpa, he told us what he says was the real reason was because the Jews, they were controlling the banks and they were abusing their power with the money to starve the German people. And Adolf Hitler was really only trying to save the people. So, you know, this was not the grandfather that I was close with. This was my dad's dad. I was close with my mom's dad. So I really don't even know this guy, but you know, I probably talked to him like 3 times in my life, real conversations, and that was one of them. So that's what he thought anyway. That's what his parents told him, is that Adolf Hitler was not really a bad guy, but that the Jews were the evil ones attacking the German people. So I guess that just shows you point of view is really everything. And even people who are doing crazy things, sometimes they think that they're doing the right thing. And just to be clear, I do not agree with what he said, okay? Not at all. So guys, that's what I took away from this book, and that's what my crazy grandpa told me when I was young. I hope you guys enjoy this story. Hope you got some good advanced level English. Maybe learned something new about the Holocaust. Got some good vocabulary. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting me. Como siempre, muchísimas gracias por ver. Nos vemos.